for the past few weeks, there's been a uniquely negative narrative about this World Cup, driven, I have to say, mostly from England. Yet here in Doha, reality feels very different. I've been here for a few days now and found a thriving, cosmopolitan sportsman city and a stunning vantage point for a tournament played out in magnificent purpose-built stadiums that are filling up more with every game. I've got to say, the conversation in Qatar is less about rainbow bucket hats and arm pads and more about the football. Why is Gareth Southgate leaving Phil Foden on the bench? Can anyone stop Kylian Mbappe? How badly injured is Neymar? Could Ronaldo or Messi's last World Cups end in the biggest trophy of all? And of course, is it coming home? Spoiler alert, probably not. From here in Qatar, the tournament bears no resemblance to all the doom-mongering headlines back home. Fans from across the world are safe and mingling happily. The stadiums are not selling beer, but those who want to drink alcohol can do so all over the city. There's no sign of the shameful booze-fueled scenes of our own Euros final at Wembley. Now, of course, Qatar is not without fault. Women's rights and gay rights are restricted by Western standards. Migrant workers have indisputably been treated badly. But those statements apply to many of the countries around the world, including many competing in this tournament, and by many nations who've hosted major sporting events without anything like the furore that's kicked off about Qatar. We seem to have forgotten in England that in 1966, when we hosted and won the World Cup, it was illegal to be gay in our country. Moral halos appear to have slipped over some people's eyes and obscured some rather salient facts. For example, there's 12% of the population here are native Qataris, something we in the supposedly sophisticated West would never tolerate. The migrants who come here in vast numbers are sometimes mistreated. But the reason they're here in the first place is because the wages they earn are life-changing. And the global scrutiny of the World Cup has at least led to reforms in labour laws here. That will be an important legacy, and one massively lacking after 2 Olympic Games in China and a World Cup in Russia. Qatar is also a significant investor in many aspects of UK life. For example, it gives us 25% of our gas, which is food for thought, isn't it, as our national grid considers winter blackouts. Would all the virtue signallers back home prefer we tell Qatar to stop sending its gas? This tournament's brought the football-mad Middle East together as well. 2 years ago, Qatar was under a blockade led by Saudi Arabia, Bahrain and the UAE. Now fans from most countries are pouring in to enjoy the football. Saudi's Crown Prince was at the opening ceremony. The Emir of Qatar even waved a Saudi flag during their stunning win over Messi's Argentina. There's no denying the Middle East has a long way to go on human rights and many social issues, but so, frankly, do a lot of European countries. There's also no denying that this region, the Middle East, has long deserved its World Cup. And there's no denying, and I can tell you, this is what most people here are thinking, that right now Qatar's putting on a pretty good show. And frankly, when it comes to morality, are we in England really in any position to lecture the Middle East about laws or values, given the way we illegally invaded Iraq 20 years ago, sparking 2 decades of ISIS terror, and at last year's Euros final, showed the world that we're a bunch of coke-snorting, booze-sodden, brawling, firework exploding from backside imbeciles? Methinks not.